So I want to thank everybody for either joining today or watching the replay. And so we're going to stay muted until my presentation is finished, and then we will unmute for questions. And then actually I will stop the recording so that the questions aren't all over the world in the replay. So I'm just going to adjust my microphone here a second. Okay. So this is a fantastic time to be using natural solutions. When we do that, we are greatly improving how we feel and all without side effects that so many over the counters and prescriptions can give us. So many of us are in the throes of getting it all done, overdoing, overthinking, and we can slow things down with our doTERRA. Think to yourself, what is the biggest challenge you're facing this time of year? Is it money, time, managing emotions? Or maybe is it keeping healthy routines to be able to sleep, have energy, and focus? What might happen if you proactively used Adaptiv oil in your diffuser all day? What would happen? It was formulated to help with feeling anxious and lead to feelings of reassurance and calm. And this is free this month with a 125 PV rewards order by the 15th. So you don't want to miss that opportunity to get your free Adaptiv oil. Wouldn't that be a welcome feeling for the tension, worry, and unease we feel when too much is out upon us or put upon us? Or should I say that we often impose on ourselves? Adaptiv helps us to adapt to any type of stressors and fears, to respond in clear, constructive, and confident ways. And if you are like me and stress has used up all of your GABA, which is the brakes of the brain, and that's a hormone that's made in our gut, then the Adaptiv capsules will serve you well too. Ordinarily, I start each day with one capsule, and I cannot describe how much better I react and respond to everything. On really busy days or with very stressful news, I will take a second one with dinner. Our guts just can't always keep up with the need for GABA. Look up GABA, that's capitals GABA, and it stands for a very long scientific name. And you look that up and you'll understand a deficiency of GABA is a part of our everyday lives now. And if you are like many women, you probably have a hard time saying no. Then we get upset at ourselves and at others. Actually, we get upset more at others for putting too much on our plate. Could it be that we would benefit from using Forgive oil at this time of year to soften our anger, our disappointment in others, and help us focus on priorities? The touch roller is perfect to have in your purse or pocket for those long lines at the post office or grocery store, and for those demands our families put on us to have great foods, especially if we're getting cynical or beginning to expect the worst from others, or if we find we are blaming others too often. Forgive aids us to see others as learning and growing too. We can be kind as they join us in this life challenge. After all, adulting is tough, and it's not just for teenagers. Forgive allows us to be more understanding and tolerant of self as well as others. And it does also come in a small bottle oil, this size bottle oil, that is perfect for refilling that roller as well as using in your diffuser. I know I literally have the Forgive oil in our car when we travel to and from Florida, just because, you know, trucks are cutting you off, or people are speeding by you, tooting their horns, whatever. Or my husband is a little irritated at my driving. Can't understand why, but sometimes he gets a little irritated that I'm in the left lane for too long and I need to get right back into the right lane. Remember too that any oils that have any citrus in them can lead to a sunburn on that spot that we applied it. So I follow a simple rule and apply them where the sun don't shine, which means my belly, up under my hairline, and the bottoms of my feet. How long does it take an oil applied topically to get into our blood? 20 seconds. Then in 20 minutes, it is in each of our cells, looking to fill empty receptors and bring us closer to wellness again. Because when we have empty receptors, that's when we end up with having symptoms or signs that something isn't quite right in our body or our mind or our spirit. Frankincense is our big 200 PV oil reward this month. And it's so very special emotionally and spiritually. It normally costs $79 for this big bottle, which has about 250 drops in that size bottle. What a blessed gift for each 200 PV we put in our shopping bag that we choose to purchase this month. So many of us look forward to this wonderful gift each year, and it happens every December. Frankincense is considered the oil of truth, pulling away lies we tell ourselves and the negativity that creates lower vibrations for us. High vibrations are associated with love and honesty, and those will serve us well when we can maintain our high vibrations. They will actually attract to us other positive, honest people, and that will make life easier and happier. It also fosters a healthy attachment to our Father, including the Divine Father, or Spirit, as some people call him. So to feel better protected, use frankincense every day and feel more positive, wiser, and uplifted. Now, at this time, and it didn't arrive in my order that just came, I have two orders this month, and one I think is coming tomorrow. And that probably has the Vanilla Dream lip balm in it because it just became available December 1st. Vanilla is, and I'm really looking forward to it because it looks like it's got a little bit different ingredients in it for softer lips. So I'm hoping for that. And so the vanilla, the Madagascar vanilla, and I had it in my kitchen and then I just couldn't find it a minute ago. So that Madagascar vanilla is another small bottle oil, that's 83 drops, and it will enhance anything it's put with, making it very enjoyable and very good. It helps us interact with our world better. I know the hand cream, the Vanilla Dream restorative hand cream is yummy to smell and so moisturizing, gets really well absorbed quickly, but it has sold out for this round of holiday products. I would really love to see that become a part of our permanent stock. In fact, I may send off an email to products at doTERRA.com and ask them if that could be considered as a permanent product because it's just so wonderful. Now, what about your friends or family who seem to be extra sensitive to scents? I know that the kids' essential oils of Stronger, Steady, Tamer, Thinker, Rescuer, and Calmer are made of different oils in blends that are softer, less intense, and less of an issue to our sensitive flowers in the hothouse, so to speak. So I'm going to speak on each one, what they can do emotionally for us. The Stronger Kids blend is the protective blend for them, and it will impart true emotional and physical strength. It offers emotional fortification and rejuvenation. It also helps to shield individuals from the intense emotions of others, thus protecting them, whether consciously or unconsciously in their communities. And we know those kids are everywhere, right? And they're often bullied. They're often the kids in the corner of the classroom who barely speak up, and Stronger would really help them. And we know Stronger helps to maintain healthy boundaries. So, who do you know who is going through a challenge who could benefit from this help? Kids and parents who are affected by marital conflicts, experiencing grief or loss, a sudden bad diagnosis medically, or those who just feel unprotected. This oil blend roller would be the equivalent of our On Guard in terms of protection. And the Stronger is a much more sensitive version. The Steady oil blend is known as the grounding blend, and that would be equivalent to our balance oil. It is very grounding and super helpful with anyone facing the unknown. They may feel life is out of control, and so the outcome would be hard to predict. Who do you know who will give up because things are too hard, or they're even afraid to even try? The um, the steady would help them feel supported and more true to themselves and less afraid. So the steady would be a great, again, stocking stuffer. Any of these touch rollers are great stocking stuffers. They'll fit into a lunchbox, a pocket, a backpack easily, or your office desk drawer. Now the Tamer blend, the Tamer is one I actually use every single morning and every night. I use it to help my gut and help me from getting too congested. Sometimes I have some reflux going on, and the Tamer is very helpful for that. So it targets the gut, and it is known as the Digestive Kids Blend. And so that would be equal to our Digest Zen. The gut, is a very complex, beautiful system that breaks down everything everyone is taking into their body. Except for plastics, those microplastics don't seem to get broken down, but everything else would because of our enzymes and digestive juices like the gastric acids and different things like pepsin, that's an enzyme in our stomach that breaks down tough things like meat. But because of the gut-brain connection, if people are struggling to assimilate feelings, they will often have digestive distress, right? Because our gut and our brain work very closely together. That's why I know myself, if I'm feeling super stressed, I've got a lot coming at me, I can tell because it shows in my bowel elimination. I become less frequent. And that, of course, sets up its own challenges. So how we're digesting our food, absorbing it, and feeling digestively should be a serious clue to reassess those feelings of stress, anxiety, sadness, hope, hopelessness, fear, and all those things. So Tamer helps to see what we are pushing down to suppress those feelings. This blend of oils will help people see what they are hiding and gain clarity about how they truly feel about a situation. Tamer will ask them to focus on tending their own feelings and well-being rather than the feelings of others. A lot of times we're so worried about what others will think, and that, of course, is going to affect our digestion. So the Tamer will help us in choosing what is best for our life. Do you know any young or older people that can be helped by Tamer? The next kids oil I want to talk about is the Thinker Blend. The Thinker Blend is our Adaptiv oil adult version. So the Thinker Blend is every kid's oil that would help them with their stress, their focus, just like our Adaptiv does. Now, every every kid's roller is perfectly diluted in a roller form, and it periodically will become available in a regular small bottle oil, but that's not often. It's usually like a special, like the Owl diffuser that sold out last month had, I think Calmer was the oil, and it was a little 5 milliliter bottle of Calmer, and that's unusual to get that in that form. But Thinker will help even newborns and the elderly who have very thin skin that bruises and tears so easily. So these perfectly diluted rollers, in fact, any of our rollers, the adult version oil rollers, as well as the kids, are safe for any type or age of skin. Thinker helps us focus and promotes calm, making staying on task that much easier. It really helps people to see what builds them up and what might tear them down, to recognize what energy revitalizes the soul or what steals their energy away. It's so good in our very distracting world and so helpful to reprioritize onto what matters most. It's especially good for those who are overstimulated to help them get mentally clear and engaged. And I do know that children who easily get overstimulated, who can get highly active or out of control, will definitely be helped by the Thinker blend. And you know, the best part of these kids' rollers is we can teach our kids and grandkids, or kids that we're providing childcare for, or taking care of in the hospital if you were a medical worker, when we empower our children to simply apply a roller to the back of their neck, to the bottom of their spine, to the bottoms of their feet, wherever they can easily reach, we are so empowering them to take care of themselves and not just stuff down feelings or frustrations, which will then end up making us very, very sick when we do that. That's part of why I think a lot of people do develop some serious illnesses is because of all that stuffing down. The next oil we've got is the Rescuer blend, and mine is kind of, my label is coming off because I've been taking it in and out of my oil bag so much. But the Rescuer blend is our kids' version of Deep Blue, and it happens to have a blue label, so that would help you remember that. It's called the Soothing Blend. And it's a combination of oils that is very soothing to the body, mind, and heart, restoring calm when it has been lost and reassures fears when they seem too overpowering to manage. It also helps us find what pain we may have buried so we can heal. And of course, it'll give you a lot of anti-inflammation support and help manage discomforts and pains. Rescuer reminds us that pain is a form of communication and often is the result of experiences that have been buried or sidestepped because we thought they were too big to deal with. Rescuer helps us find our courage and resilience, which lay untapped in all of us. So, who is dealing with chaos, overwhelm, or emotional pain and could use this Rescuer roller in their Christmas stocking? Might it be a great first step to them finally healing what needs that help? And the last little roller I've got to share with you is the Calmer roller. And it has the Serenity Oil Blend as our adult version. So it would be equal to that, only it doesn't smell as strong. And the restful blend that soothes when people feel out of control, worried, or overwhelmed. It is a restful blend. It also helps those overstimulated and having trouble quieting the mind. Have you ever gone to bed and you just cannot stop thinking of the thousand things you've got to do tomorrow, or the woulda, coulda, shouldas of what happened in the week behind you? What would it be like for someone you know to finally be able to use a tool like this to fan the frenzy of an overdone day or work week? Or the news even. I personally choose to rarely watch the news. I will occasionally read our newspaper that comes to my husband's iPad. However, a lot of times for me, the news is very unsettling and stress making. So I'm choosing not to do that. Of course, my husband then says I'm uninformed, but I try to stay informed. Calmer will gently encourage people to realign with their intuition and heart knowing. It helps us to slow down, check within us to see what we should embrace and what needs to be let go. In the end, it says everything will be okay. And in fact, if you wanted to teach your child that you're giving a roller to a little affirmation, that would be nice to also have them pair that little cognitive phrase with how the oil makes them feel, because then they can transfer when they're feeling out of sorts and they don't have the roller with them. They can simply say that affirmation. Things like, everything works out for me, or there's enough to go around, or perhaps it is, I am good enough, or I am enough. Those are simple little phrases that can help whenever we're using any of our oils emotionally. And that goes for adults as well as kids. So, how can we help ourselves to use these natural, effective, safe tools to manage and or heal ourselves? First, we want to smell the oils to get them into our cells fast. Then we can rub them on. So if I was using this tamer, I would smell it first and then I would rub it on. Actually, the way I use my tamer, and I use this because I can get congested up in here, so I will go around my eyes once and then down the side of my neck right below my ear. Go around that eye and right below that ear. And that for me, twice a day, seems to keep my congestion at bay from my respiratory reflux issue that I try to deal with, but sometimes I'm falling down on that. So I do use these tools to help me with that. So we're going to smell first, if you can. Or if you put it in your hand, you can always smell it afterwards. Rub your hands together, smell, cup over your nose. And I often will use any of these oils. If I want the emotional benefits, I will often simply, I will rub my hands together and then I will maybe rub the back of my neck, my throat, reach down into my shirt and onto my chest. I will often do that because between my brain and my heart, I'm figuring I'm getting those benefits quickly. And of course, whenever we're using our diluted oils, we are getting more for them with each application. And if it's going to be below our clothing or underneath bedding at night, for example, or underneath a dressing, you're going to get about 75% of that oil versus if you're using just the pure oil with no fractionated coconut oil, you get about 4%. So it's a huge benefit to use the oils diluted as well as being able, when you can, cover up the area. Now, if it is a small child or a person who is unable to do these things, a gentle hand massage or a back or foot massage can be wonderful to get the oils on them and in them within 20 seconds. Remember also that touch is usually welcome and reassuring in our world that it often is devoid of gentle touch. Uh, Oftentimes when people are touched, they might be poked or grab by the arm, or they might just, if they're not being touched in that way, they may feel that energy from the other person that they're with, especially if the tone of voice is harsh. So whenever we can gently massage someone's hand, I would put the oil like right on the hand, put it right on the hand, and then I would gently kind of just push in with my thumb very gently all around the hand to get that oil rubbed in super well as giving the emotional benefit of the gentle touch. I know in long-term care facilities and hospitals, many people are not touched except in ways that can be painful, like having too many needles inserted into them for medications or for blood draws, or maybe too many painful procedures are done to them. And so in those facilities, often people will associate touch with discomfort. And how nice is it to have a caring and pleasant, calming touch to remember long after you have left? In fact, the aroma touch technique, which is a clinical application of 8 oils, 8 adult oils, balance, lavender, tea tree, on guard, aroma touch blend, deep blue, wild orange, and peppermint. Those oils are applied in very specific ways to the back and to the bottoms of the feet in about 30 minutes or less to impart great relaxation, good immunity support, good comfort support, as well as taking those organs of our body back to homeostasis. That aroma touch technique comes in a special kit as well, and the kit itself has all 8 oils in 15 milliliter bottles, which is the only way you can get deep blue in a 15 milliliter bottle, by the way. And so the kit comes with it a code that you can go online and learn a $97 course in how to do this aroma touch technique, either the full body technique or just a hand massage. And you learn a lot of other information about the science around how those oils help people. So that aroma touch technique kit is certainly a money-saving kit, as well as a very educational opportunity for any of us to take advantage. So how can this information help you now? Well, I know I've mentioned it already. Stocking stuffers come right to mind. Ordering today will definitely get them on time for the big day. And relying on the ones that make sense for you and your family will help a super natural, effective habit to form that will solve and preempt future problems. Will you let me know what resonated with you today? That will help all of us to learn more next Lunch and Learn. And remember, this Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, our good friends, Dr. Marie, a naturopathic physician, and women's health nurse practitioner, Sandy, will help me review some key tools for your family's wellness and share DIYs too, as well as give away some prizes. So let me know if you want me to sign you up for that reminder. And I do want to thank you again for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions. And our next Lunch and Learn will be, let me just double check when that's going to be. It will be January 13th. Yes, it will be January 13th. So I'm just putting it right there in my calendar. And so I hope that you will mark that on your calendar as well and join me. I will be online again to help you out. So thanks again. And so I'm going to stop the recording now and then we will do our questions.